So Jesus forever altered his reality so he could become one with us.
Are you gonna wave? We're in the vlog now. Look who I ran into here at Starbucks in Georgia. Check this dude out. They said they weren't gonna say anything, but I'm still awkwardly holding this gigantic camera. So here he is. What's up, dude? Hanging out?
We're in Starbucks and Dave's got a camera.
Yeah, but he's got to run, so we can't get into any heavy Jesus stuff. But we'll talk about that later. I don't know. And then there's Lacey. One of the things that Scott and I were talking about was Jesus being the center of everything, of life, of expression. Jesus is King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and when that was said at the time of Jesus that the Messiah was coming and he would be the King of Kings and he would be the Lord of Lords, it came with this whole Hebraic understanding and context of a whole spiritual world of different spiritual beings that actually ruled in different parts of the earth. And if you look at some of the language in the Old Testament, it's hard for us to kind of connect with that in our minds because we're Western thinkers, which are really influenced by the age of logic and reason. But the Eastern thought, especially with the way some of the Old Testament passages are written, is this whole context of a worldview with different rulers and the powers and authorities. That's why you see a lot of this language in the New Testament where it's saying, look, Jesus is above all of these. He's not just another prophet. He's not just another man that God's using. He's actually the one who reigns above all of them. That's why when John said, you know, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, it's because he's differentiating Jesus from all who've come before him and all who would come after him, because he was before time. He's also there when time concludes, so he's the Alpha and the Omega. He's the limitless one, the everlasting one. Now Jesus, with this much power and authority, it's really amazing. I've been working my way through Hebrews, and as I was waiting to kind of hang out with Scott today, I was thinking about Jesus, and reading this, it says, when Jesus the Messiah came into the world, he said, "Since your ultimate desire was not another animal sacrifice, you have clothed me with a body that I might offer myself instead." And so it's easy to read just that one passage. Like we can fast forward right through it. The God of the universe humbled himself. The Son of God became the Son of Man and took on a human body for one reason, so that body could become a sacrifice. If Jesus come in celestial form only, we'll all fall on our face and worship him, but there will be a disconnect. But when Jesus comes as a man, as a human, to reach humans, we look at God and we say, oh, God's like me, I can relate to him. So we were created in his image, and then he took the same image of creation and put it on himself so that we could see him, and in seeing him we could relate to him, and that opened up the celestial. Now we have a connection point to everything that's heavenly, everything that's otherworldly. It's through the life of Jesus, 100% God, 100% man. So Jesus forever altered his reality so he could become one with us. When Jesus appeared to the disciples with his natural body, he walks through the wall. He didn't turn into a spirit, then turn back into a person. That natural body was now changed. It was transformed to this heavenly body. He was still able to look at the disciples and say, put your finger in my hand and in my side. And when they did that, they actually put their hand into that otherworldly place, because it says when he was on the earth, the fullness of cosmos was inside of him at the same time. So he put his heavenly, it's not like he hung it on a coat rack, he put his heavenly on us so he could take up the earthly. And the mystery of that is that all of the heaven was still inside of him. The outside extravagance he traded for a human experience. And now you have that human experience and that celestial experience in one. So there's no veil between heaven and earth, because his body ripped that veil open, and everything that was majestic on the inside came pouring out. That's also why Jesus was born of a virgin, because he came from behind the veil that had never been torn. And so it was everything of the earthly coming. It's much bigger, all-encompassing, and it's also quantum inside of us. And so the hologram is actually the natural experience and existence, and the reality is the heavenly. So this life is good. He did create it so we could relate to each other and have experience. It's also something he took upon himself, 100% God, 100% man. So it's the fullness of creation, the fullness of existence, the fullness of experience. That's why Jesus is the center of everything. And so everything, every mystical journey, everything you're going on should lead you to a further, deeper, more majestic, more romantic, more intimate encounter and knowing of Jesus himself. 100% God, 100% man. It's a heavenly family, Father-loving Son, Son-loving Spirit, Spirit-loving Father. And as you've heard me say many times on the vlog, now we're included in that. Because he took the body forever and sacrificed it, and then was resurrected in it. So there'd be no separation ever again, no possibility of ripping that again. You can't rip it once it's already been ripped and reattached. So everything that our existence outside the image is completely removed. Now we're all included in his death and resurrection. Now the gospel is the good news of saying this is that knowledge. I made a post recently on Facebook from my first book called Revivalism. It says, the sad reality of hell is that it's not the absence of God's love, but the rejection of it that sends one there. So we're already included, and the good news is to say, hey, you are part of the family. Here's what Jesus did to include you in the family. And then it's our choice to make the reception of that or the rejection of that. So if you're watching this, know that you're loved. There's nothing you have to do. Jesus did it all for you. And in saying yes to that, you enter into his life, his existence, his experience. And entering into that is a life of growing. It is a life of family. It is a life of discipleship. Because being positionally somewhere, you still have this amazing world to discover, to grow. We exist inside of his image, but any actions that might still exist in us outside of his image is sin. And through discipleship and growth, our actions are conformed and transformed by the renewing of our mind to reflect actions and thoughts that are only originate at the source, at the image of God. Which is why our entire pursuit is Jesus himself. Bless you guys. Book I just mentioned, Call for Revivalist, right here, my very first book. Recently revised last year to include a lot more content. It's over 300 pages now. And again, it's a society and culture that really likes to, kind of get through the fast books. But this is a big chunk of just talking to you about the heavenly lifestyle, some of the things I just mentioned on the video about becoming a revivalist, a carrier of heaven on earth. The definition of the word church, or the Greek word, is ecclesia, and those were people who were called out and elected to sit in the city gates and govern what came in and out of the city. Well, as members of the church today, we're a family who sits in the gates of the earth and govern what happens between heaven and earth. And that expression, everything I talked about Jesus doing on the cross, giving his body for a sacrifice so he could be forever one with us, now becomes evident in us and through us. And our existence in him transforms us into the gates. It's him inside of us, and through us he reaches the people. So when we love, when we understand this, we can represent heaven on earth. That makes us revivalists, so check it out. Don't forget, you're loving the videos. Like, subscribe, and share. It really helps us out. We're really trying to get our influence out there. Use YouTube as a stream of income to help expand our ministry, to ignite kingdom family, activate revivalists, and spark supernatural Christianity. So bless you guys. Love you guys.